Incredible flavours, even better stories. One pour, 10 minutes. Aussie bourbon lovers sharing bourbon with Australia.
Rightio. What are we drinking tonight, Dave?
This is a Green River weeded bourbon. Is that a signed bottle? Maybe it's not signed, but we definitely got it at Kentucky Bourbon Festival 2023 last year.
I love a weeded bourbon.
Yep. It's delicious. Why are we having this one tonight, H?
We're having this one tonight because we are heading off to the Kentucky Bourbon Festival soon. And where we first discovered this was the Kentucky Bourbon Festival. So...
Boy, I hope we release this one before we go. Never mind.
What?
Oh, I'm just being silly. We haven't left yet. Cheers.
Yeah. Green River.
Oh, we do make good. Yep. You're just straightforward again. I love how enthusiastic you are. You're so enthusiastic. This is why we're the Aussie bourbon lovers, because you love it so much you don't even...
I nose it and drink it, and I should take the time to nose it more before I...
Owensboro, Kentucky, and I don't know my geography very well, but that's where it's from. It's...
The extent of my knowledge is Kentucky.
It's in Kentucky, yeah. Owensboro. And for the people playing at home, watching on the big screens, not big screens, just watching it all, DSP KY-1010.
It's all
every
on the
distillery in the United States has a DSP number, distillery number. KY is the state. 10 means it was the 10th registered distillery in America.
Oh, wow.
Isn't that amazing?
I didn't know that.
Yeah, so
I knew the KY was Kentucky, but 10.
It's continuously running. I don't think it needs to have been, because I know Peerless, for example, kind of reclaimed it after Prohibition and maybe more recently than that.
Do you know what I love about the bottle?
Come on then, you tell me.
Is the bottom of it. There's a horseshoe shape, and it's like an indent, so there's like a little gap at the front.
It's more than just a bourbon.
It's more than just a bourbon. It's a really fun game because you can get a coin and sit your bottle on the table, and then you slide your coin from one end of the table towards the bourbon bottle, and if you're really clever, you can catch it in the horseshoe under the bourbon bottle. It's like a soccer game with a coin and a bourbon bottle.
I think they call it shoot the shoe.
Yeah.
I think that's what the name of it is.
Very fun. Because it makes it more than just a bourbon.
That's exactly right. So it's a weeded bourbon, and just a second ago I had all the numbers up. I think it's 70% corn. I wonder if I can quickly...
If it's 70% corn, how much wheat is there?
I reckon it's as much as 20% wheat, actually.
Oh, I like wheated bourbons. As most
Why do you
listening.
like weeded bourbon, H? What's
I
the thing?
feel like they're smoother. They don't have that... Because the ones with rye have... I'll get it wrong, I call it like that slight burn, but it's the spices are quite spicy, which are delicious, but I think I like the smoothness of a weeded bourbon. I think that's why. I've just come to, the more I taste, the more I realise it's always the weeded ones that I'm like, yes. But Green River, I discovered, as it started to rain at the Kentucky Bourbon Festival, I went into the nearest tent to keep out of the rain.
There's a theme here, because we also recently spoke about the rabbit hole, and that's what the refuge you sought during that rain shower was the rabbit hole.
But it was only a few little sprinkles, like it didn't rain very much, but there was one rain shower, we went for the rabbit hole, then we wandered around and there was another late afternoon rain shower, and I ducked into Green River and was playing the game with lots of great people and had a lot of fun, and I decided to taste their delicious bourbon.
You're right, and you stayed and played Shoot the Shoe.
Yeah.
And I ran across and went to Bardstown.
I was terrible.
Because no one was in that. There was a massive queue for Bardstown all day, except when it started raining, because it wasn't undercover.
It wasn't undercover, yeah.
And so I ran over and I had a great chat with the guys at Bardstown. It was great. And I bought one of the bottles that's up there still.
Yeah. But I had lots of fun playing the Shoot the Shoe, and I was terrible at it. But the bourbon was delicious.
It doesn't matter, does it? It's one of these, it's like quoits, or it's like, what's the one with the cornhole toss? You don't need to be good at it.
It's fun doing it. And it was watching everyone's technique and drinking bourbon while you did it. It was great.
70% Kentucky grown corn, 21% wheat, 9% malted barley. So in the world of bourbon, they talk about a flavour grain. Rye and wheat are the flavour grains that give you, corn obviously brings a lot of its own characteristics, but you have to have 51% corn for it to be bourbon.
Yep.
Malted barley is what brings in the I'm going to say enzymes, but I'm going to get it wrong. It's the thick malted barley kind of gets the chemical reactions happening that make
it's like the yeasty.
Yeah, there's yeast as well, but it's the part of the thing that gets the party started. It's the other one.
The party starter.
Yeah. So wheat and rye are the two that kind of are the flavour grains. You have some 4-grain mash bills as well, but this is a wheated bourbon where you swap it. Pardon?
Generally speaking.
Yeah. And obviously lots of people doing lots of cool stuff.
Yeah. But I definitely like the smoothness of the wheat.
Yeah. And this is just, for me, a banging wheated bourbon. 21% wheat. Maker's Mark's that wheated bourbon that everyone kind of knows a lot about.
Obviously, it's a red wheat.
It's a red winter wheat, you're right. You're right.
So which is different to this one, right? Or not?
Green would just say it's wheat.
They say it's wheat, yeah.
And I don't know. Of course it'll have its own name of its strain or whatever. It'll have its own thing.
We'll find out more.
There's some other famous wheated bourbons that you might have heard of. Pappy Van Winkle, for example. That's one. Weller is another one.
Yeah.
There's a few.
There's lots of great wheated ones.
Drew Mayville from Buffalo Trace said that only 5% of bourbons sold are wheated.
Yeah, you get more rye.
That's the flavour grain, the rye flavour grain, yeah.
Yeah, is the main one.
And more traditional, yeah.
Yeah.
So
you're saying I'm not traditional, but I like a wheated?
I'm definitely not saying that. I'm saying that when Bill Samuels went, let's go red winter wheat, he was shaking things up a bit. Yeah.
I'm glad he shook things up a bit.
Yeah.
And I'm glad that Green River people turned their delicious bourbon into more than just a bottle of bourbon. It's a fun game. So
good.
And we'll have to taste what else they have. Because can you get this one in Australia, or is this one?
Thank you for asking, because I was exactly where I was going. Only in, I think, the last 6 months has it become more available here in Australia. Because
I remember when we brought it back because you couldn't get it in Australia. Yep. And I was like, are we talking about a bourbon that these wonderful people listening in Australia cannot get? But no, you can get it.
I think in the US, $35 for this bottle, and like great value. I think here, less than $100.
Yeah.
And we pay those crazy taxes and stuff for bourbons that get imported, but I think it's less than $100. And yeah, it's a good one to have on your shop. It's a wheated bourbon. And we've tried their other bourbons.
I liked their wheated one, but did you have a preference as to?
Well, I like this one as well. That's why we got it, I think. But they have a bunch of other good ones. And look at that range. Sorry, this is a bit embarrassing that we're looking at something that you can't see. They've got foolproof rye.
The range of Green River bourbons.
Single barrel bourbon, and then they've got this new one they've just started doing, which is the 1885 bourbon as well, which I think is more of a it's one that goes in cocktail bars, I think.
Yeah.
But that's brand new. They've only just started kind of pouring that.
That was the other thing they were doing really well on the day. They were making great cocktails with this one.
Were they? Do you remember what the cocktail was?
Oh, I remember it had tea in it because I was like, I'd never thought of putting cold tea in with a bourbon in a cocktail, and I was like, I need to try this at home.
I hate podcasts that do this, but I'm about to do it. Just before we hit record, I said, can we go to Green River? And you said, no, we can't go.
No, we've already booked in so many, and we're going to get to see them at the Kentucky Bourbon Festival. So we've got to save some for next year, Dave.
Okay.
Because we can't go to... He's booking in all these distilleries for this year's tour. For this year's festival, and I want to be at the festival, and we're going to see all these great distilleries at the festival.
Okay.
And as much as I want to go on tour all of the distilleries, we only have 3 days, so we've got to be very selective. And we've got to save some for next year. And I think Green River's going to have to be one that we enjoy at the festival and put on the save for next year list.
There's another part of this that I need to better understand, which is Green River. There's a connection between Green River and then Chicago, and I think St. Patrick's Day, and turning the river green. So we're going to do our research in Kentucky and or on a distillery tour, maybe not necessarily in a few weeks, but maybe when we go back, and we'll be able to report back what the thing about Green River and Chicago... He's going to try and get us on a tour
this time, I can sense it.
I just don't know if we're going to have the time. But, I mean, it's just, if in Australia...
So is there a river called Green River? Or let's find out why they call it Green River.
There must be, mustn't there? In Owensboro, mustn't there? I think Owensboro is a tiny town as well. I think this is like the cool thing that's happening in Green River.
All right. Let's get more information about Green River and report back to you.
I think we should
live from the Kentucky Bourbon Festival.
Okay. Live? I don't know about... We'll come back to...
We'll do it live.
Can we go to the distillery?
We'll go to their stall at the Kentucky Bourbon. We may end up at the distillery. Stay tuned.
It's a fair cop.
Dave may win this battle. The Green River Distillery battle.
Cheers.
Thanks for listening. Make sure you're connected with us on TikTok, Instagram and YouTube, and stay connected with us by clicking subscribe on your favourite podcast app.